Let's settle this. So we've all seen the headlines that The Boys Season 4 has made. Some of it is positive, and some of it, well, let's just say many people are not happy with the direction the show is going. So in this video, we're going to find out why The Boys Season 4 has everyone mad furious, and the brutal truth that underlines this whole situation. Is the show really taking the worst turn imaginable, or is something else going on here? People are mad furious, and it's not even a matter about critics this time, or people who don't even watch the show. These are the fans that are the fans who watched the first 3 seasons and are now watching Season 4. I mean, the audience Rotten Tomatoes speak for itself. And though Rotten Tomatoes is becoming kind of less relevant for people deciding what to watch, it's still useful in gauging how well the audience or critics are taking a particular show or movie. But let's even look past Rotten Tomatoes now and into the next best place for determining how well a show is being received: the internet. The internet has been very vocal about its opinion on this new season. There have been so many Reddit posts and Instagram hate comments on the show's main account, along with a slew of YouTube shorts, TikTok videos, and even long-form videos from renowned movie review veterans like Critical Drinker. And there's also the Erin Moriarty situation, which is just wow. So it's a lot of hate, or if you'd prefer the term, criticism, directed at one specific season of a show, the latest installment of the show. And what do I have to say about all this? Well, first of all is that it's understandable and even kind of expected. And I'll get to why it's expected in a bit, but let's talk about why it's understandable. So there are a lot of things floating around in the never-ending abyss of the internet on why there is so much hate towards this season. But I've done my findings and I've really boiled it down to 3 things. 1. Overt politics, 2. Wokeness, and 3. Timing. We'll start with politics. So it's no news that The Boys has been pretty open about its political satire, and that has been one of the show's defining traits right from Season 1. It took deeper roots in Season 3, but it's been there since Season 1. What with Madeline trying to get Homelander and the other supes into the military, and it somehow almost happening, and in Season 2 we see Stan Edgar actively discussing with the Secretary of Defense on the terms of their inclusion into the military. Fast forward to Season 3, Stormfront is dead and everyone is breathing down Homelander's neck because he was basically dating a Nazi. This leads Homelander to finally lose it, and he just outright proclaims that he's better than average humans. In the following episodes, he does a bunch of things that are just very Homelander, only this time people really like him for it. Like, people buy into everything he stands for. And lest we forget also the scene where he just outright kills a man in broad daylight with an audience that cheers for him afterward. What is my point with all this? My point is that The Boys has never ever shied away from taking horrendously bold steps when it comes to political commentary or any other commentary for that matter. So why is it that people are all of a sudden so offensive when the showrunners lean into it in the latest installment? Well, the general argument is that it's more front and center now, and everything's like a big conspiracy against one political division over the other, which is understandable. From personal experience, I've seen things flop so hard because of trying to lean too much into one religious ideology or political standpoint, or just anything really that could potentially cause division, especially when it comes to art, because you don't want a part of your audience feeling alienated or antagonized by your art, so it's understandable. And when the director, Eric, was confronted about this was what he had to say. I clearly have a perspective and I'm not shy about putting that perspective in the show. Anyone who wants to call the show woke or whatever, that's okay. Go watch something else. So clearly Eric is not so happy about the backlash the show is getting for being too quote-unquote woke. And I have my own opinions about all this, including Eric's statement, but let's just go over the remaining 2 points I listed first. Speaking of wokeness, Season 4 has an interesting matchup between Frenchie and a new character named Colin. And let's just say some fans were not happy about this. Some people were vocal about their displeasure with Frenchie now apparently being bisexual. And I don't even understand this, to be honest. I mean, it's one thing to be upset about an element of a character or the whole character just being a device for inclusivity and not adding any real substance to the plot. But this is clearly not that. French's relationship with Colin is nuanced and serves an integral role to the plot. And it's not even like a fun relationship really, it's filled with guilt and it's filled with uncertainty. And it definitely delves deeper into Frenchie's character and shows us this side of this character that is quite interesting. It's not some clever plot device to bait the LGBTQ community with fun sex scenes and inside jokes, which is probably a staple of Hollywood at this point. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with some inclusivity, but it just has to make sense to the story. You can't even have someone like freaking butcher turning out to be gay, that would be very obscene. But you can have that for someone like Frenchie, especially since they'd already hinted at it in previous seasons. Think about it, Frenchie is a French African. He's already representing a diverse audience. And don't get me wrong, directors shouldn't be inclusive because of inclusivity's sake and just mess up the whole story just cause you're trying to fit something into a narrative where it doesn't fit. However, if it does make sense for the story and it could open the media to a broader audience, it's a no-brainer. That's why I'm actually surprised that people are upset about this, calling it woke, and this outrage isn't just tied to Frenchie's sexuality, it also goes back to the politics we were talking about and even the social messaging. And then there's A-Train's redemption arc after 3 seasons of being unbearable. There's also the timing of all this, which is really important in this discussion, because I think the timing more than anything else is what's causing this much outrage among the audience. For those who don't know, this year, yes, conspiratorially accelerated 2024, is a presidential election year of the United States. And as you can imagine, a lot of tension is rising, a lot of tables are being shook. And The Boys couldn't be airing at a more divisive time than now. As I've said before, The Boys does not shy away from its bold political commentary, and in this particular season, it kind of paints the right wing not in a positive way. In a very coincidental shock, the day the episode where Homelander is on trial for literally murdering someone on broad daylight aired, former President Donald Trump just happens to be on trial as well. Did the writers know this would happen? I'm guessing not. Now, I'm not here to talk about politics myself or even just delve into it at all, but I bring this up because it's important as it really shines light on what is going on here. And when you pay attention, it all starts to make sense. America is politically heated right now, and a good chunk of Americans are drawing parallels between the show and real life. And not all of them are liking what they're seeing. Again, I can understand the reasoning behind this, but with all this said, what is the brutal truth of the matter? Is The Boys Season 4 truly horrible, disgusting, just for being too woke? And is Eric wrong for telling his audience to go watch something else? To be honest, as with most things, the answer lies in the middle. And I don't say this to be indecisive or to not try and offend anybody. The truth is, you can't really say this is wrong or right, clear and cut. Most things in life aren't just black and white. There's always gray most times. And this is no different. Everyone is kind of wrong in all this, the audience and even the showrunners as well. First of all, I get it. No one wants to feel alienated when they're watching their favorite show. But we have to remember that this is The Boys we're talking about. This show got popular in the first place because of how unapologetically unhinged it was. With everything, the characters, the social commentary, the themes, and its political satire. So we shouldn't be surprised when it makes bold moves and its narrative choice when it comes to politics. We also seem to forget that politics plays a huge role to the story itself, to the plot. From season 1, everything has been building toward Homelander trying to gain power over everything. It started with Vought, he got that. And now his goal is the White House. We all saw it coming, so we shouldn't be surprised when the showrunners lean into that fact and make politics more front and center. And it only even makes more sense when you consider the fact that even in the comics, the original source material, everything still ends up coming back to the White House. The political emphasis is only a natural part of season 4. And you know, I kinda expected all this to happen. I mean, for a show as inherently controversial as The Boys, you're bound to upset some people eventually. We've all seen it with shows like Euphoria, 13 Reasons Why, Game of Thrones even, like a lot of them just up there. I actually anticipated this particular backlash to happen. I wasn't just sure when, but I knew it was going to happen, eventually. I've seen some discourse online concerning this. In particular, some people think that the political viewpoint should be relegated to the background, or at least incorporated in the show in a way that it doesn't feel front and center. The Critical Drinker did a video about this, and he strongly agrees with that. He was very clear about his stance with season 4, and while I don't always tend to agree with the guy, I did understand where he was coming from in that video. A lot of Hollywood shows tend to go the same route. The first season has a tight narrative and great characters, everyone loves it. And then the seasons that follow, the writers get conceited and everything starts to turn into a shit show. It happens a lot, I'm not even going to deny that, but I don't see that with The Boys season 4. A lot of people say it has more shock value in it. Guess what? It's always been there, right from the first episode of season 1. Are you seeing what's happening? People are complaining about a new season of a series that's just doing what it always has. This would be another thing entirely if the season was significantly worse than the other seasons. But so far, it seems to be going great. I for one am genuinely enjoying it. That said, Eric is out of line for telling his audience to go watch something else if they weren't satisfied with his creative decisions. Yes, he is absolutely wrong to do that, because the audience are basically what made the success of the show possible. Without the fans, The Boys is nothing, it's non-existent. They would have pulled the plug right from season 1. It's always a good idea to at least pay attention to what the fans have to say, or complaints they have, to make future seasons better. Because ultimately, that's all that matters, creating something that the fans are genuinely excited to watch. I mean, we all saw what happened with Game of Thrones and how badly that ended, all because they couldn't be bothered with what the fans had to say. Anyway, the internet is split in half with this new season. Some people love the shit out of it, like they love it more than ever before, while others, not so much. And it's funny because the internet will never show you the full picture. It will only feed you information and opinions based on your biases. That's why it's always a good idea to watch something yourself first, then come up with an opinion before looking for third-party opinions. I've made a video about this in the past, but basically it's just always better to find out yourself whether you like something or not. And as for me, I liked The Boys Season 4. It delivered everything I loved the show for, and it was not apologetic about it. What do you think about The Boys Season 4? Do you hate it or do you love it? Let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. It really helps the channel grow, and subscribe so you'll catch me when I upload next, which is really soon. Also, I'm on my way to 1K subs, so let's make it happen. And I promise that I'll hook you up for VOD merch. Thanks for watching. Bye.